Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our August 12th school board meeting. If you would, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Mrs. Alford, do we have anybody for public comment? Okay, thank you. Looks like we have a presentation by Lieutenant Rinks, our SRO.
Good evening. Apologize for my dress in advance. I have to go straight to coaching flag football.
That's right.
Which our team will be doing our orange and black scrimmage on Thursday, and then next Saturday, I think is the 23rd, maybe, we will have our first game. We travel to Terre Haute, I think north, and we'll play against them on that Saturday morning, and then we have our first home game that following Wednesday against Roncalli. So it's a big one. It'd be great if you guys could come. The girls have been working really hard. We've had incredible numbers. The rosters are supposed to be at 25, and we've been somewhere around 30 since school started back up, and we had probably at least a solid 15, 16 girls at just about every practice all summer. The excitement from the girls has been fantastic. So,
how many teams will you play this year in total?
So you have to do a 7-week. So the requirement is, because it's not a IHSAA sport, although we think there's a really good shot that it will be next year, because we should be well over 100 teams by the end of this season. So you have to play, I believe, a 7-week season to be eligible for the state tournament, and I believe the cutoff for the state tournament, which will just be one weekend, and then the state championship tournament will be the next weekend. So to get into the qualifier, I think you have to win a minimum of 4 or 5 games to be eligible for the postseason. So it's a big task, but we've got a lot of really tough girls. I mean, they're just eating it up, and Coach Williams has really used this to grow his wrestling ranks too. He's got a lot. We've got a ton. We have one senior, I think one junior, and maybe a handful of sophomores, and just a ton of freshmen. The freshman girls have come out in droves, and now he's gotten at least a handful of them showing up to the wrestling ring too. So it's been really great.
Oh, it's so good.
So I'm really looking forward to the home game. I hope we can get a really good crowd out there, because it'll be the first in Beech Grove history. So
Yeah.
What time do they play?
What's that?
What time do they play?
I believe 7 o'clock that night. So, but it'll be a big one, another local rival. So,
Love it.
as far as the SRO programs go, it's been a really good start to the school year. I've been here since the 2020-2021 school year. I'd say we probably had the best start so far, just not a lot of issues so far. The high school, knock on wood. High school had one small fight the first day, but it was something that carried over from the summer. It was a small one. It was broken up pretty quickly. Haven't really had any issues. We had a couple of parent issues throughout the district, but that's pretty typical, especially when traffic's bad to start. Usually somebody gets pretty lippy with one of our officers or some of the staff, because they just forget about patience. But other than that, it's been a really good start. I'd say here at the high school, I think it's been pretty nice. I mean, the 3 lunches, I think, have eased up a lot of the issues in the lunchroom, and I think the kids are having a little bit more fun. I mean, like Friday, one of the kids sang the fight song on the microphone, one of the football players.
Nice.
Yeah, so Coach Mosley makes all the football players, you don't get your decals on your helmet until you can sing the fight song to him.
It's fantastic.
And it's a policy he started last year, so everybody has to know the fight song. And he got one kid, had to come to him to get his decals for Friday night's practice. And so he sang the fight song, and then we kind of talked one of the other football players into doing the fight song over the microphone. And The whole cafeteria was clapping. It was just a lot of fun. I think it's been a lot of fun. I think we're developing a little more school spirit, which is nice. From a school I guess I should get back on track. From a school safety standpoint, one of the big things we're kind of trying to target this year is closed doors in classrooms during instructional time. It is a policy. It's one of those, it gets lax at times. Some people, it gets hot in the building. Some people leave their doors open. So we really wanted to focus on doing that because we did do some active shooter training at the middle school in June that myself and a couple of other officers put on, and we had maybe 14 or 15 staff members and their children show up to act as role players. We did it very as live as we could. We had some cap guns that we borrowed from Mr. Shanahan, so the cap guns that they use for cross country and track. So we had like noises going on and tried to simulate active shooters as much as possible. And one thing we saw that we couldn't get into classrooms. If you had the door locked, we couldn't get into classrooms. We would, unless we had a key, we were going to have to go back out to the car and use some kind of breaching equipment to get in. So that's something I wanted to drive home, and I think a lot of the staff realized that when they saw that, like, if we can't get in and your doors are locked and we call for a lockdown, it's highly unlikely that someone with bad intentions is going to be able to get into your classroom too. That's our first line of defense. So it's something we really wanted to just drive home, like, hey, this is something we need to really pay attention to. So I put that out to the whole district the first week of school, and I haven't heard any complaints. When I walk the halls, it seems like all the doors are closed. Another thing that we've really pushed on, Mr. Austin, since last year, really has started really trying to clean out the hallways and really buckle down on pass outs and stuff like that, which is a safety issue. It's not only kids are losing instructional time if they're out running the halls and skipping schools, but it's also a safety issue. If we have to go to a lockdown and there's 30 kids out in the halls roaming around, it just creates added dangers for us. And we've done a really good job of that. I think you walk the halls now, and the difference from just a few years ago, there's just nobody out. And everybody, it seems like the staff that is out in the halls are taking the extra time. Hey, where's your pass? Where are you supposed to be? And if they don't have the pass, they get sent back to the class to go get a pass. So it's been some good things. Our officers are still in the same. I'm at the high school. Officer Reese is at Central. Officer Parker and Zoe are at the middle school, and Hartman is kind of floating around. They've been helping out a lot with traffic. Traffic is always tough coming in and out the first couple of weeks, but it does seem like it's starting to die down. But the officers are doing a really good job of getting the traffic patterns down. We had to make some adjustments again to the high school. I had forgotten about my cones that everybody loves, and I got called by a parent yesterday and reminded her Friday, hey, there's no cones out, and everybody's just going there. So I had to my cones all disappeared. I had 2 cones left, so I had to use my car and the 2 cones to kind of create some traffic lanes, but we'll get it worked out. So, our priority is safety, and we try to slow down as many cars as we get at the front of the high school, just because you have 400 or 500 kids coming out as you have all these cars coming out too. So we just try to slow them down a little bit. Central's tough, and there's just not a lot we can do to get. Central's always going to be tough. It's just such a small footprint to get that many car riders through. So, but other than that, I think the school year's been going really well. Does anybody have any questions for me or?
Have there been less issues since the campus has not built so much time?
So I think the big issue, not from like a safety standpoint, but just something I see from being there today, I think the tardies dropped. When people would leave for campus, after every lunch period, you'd have 10, 15, sometimes 20 kids coming in late to get a late pass. So that's dropped significantly. And leaving at lunch does create some issues. It cost me like $10 a day because Allie had to go to Chick-fil-A every day, so I'm not complaining about Ainsley's going to miss out on that. But we would have accidents. I mean, you'd always have at least 2 or 3 a year where one of our students would get in an accident while they were out. Luckily, none of them ever got hurt, but, I think that's something that will reduce. I think it just keeps the campus closed. It's less people coming in and out during that time. I think it allows you to just keep a safer environment. The kids are getting used to it, and I think the cafeteria staff, they've changed a lot. The food options. I had one kid today, he was telling me he just transferred in, I think late last week from George Washington. He was like, man, this cafeteria is so much better. He goes, we just get like a little package lunch every day, and we had like no options, just hand you this, I guess, a warm or cold package, and that was their lunch. And I mean, now they have smash burgers, and they're always doing something different. So I think that was probably a good plus to try to improve that while also making them stay there. So, any other questions?
If you had anything that you could change, what would you do? What would you want to do?
If I had anything right now in the program that I would change, I don't know that I have any. I mean, we've built this over the years with all of them. I feel like we've built it to where we want it to be. Obviously, if we could have an officer in every building, that would be fantastic. But I know with budgets, that's going to be even less likely. I mean, that's a dream I think that everybody would want. But I think we're just not going to ever be there. But Josh does a good job of getting around to the other buildings, and guys will move around. We'll probably maybe make some tweaks here in the next few weeks, just kind of kicking around some ideas.
How are your incidents this year between parents and officers versus previous years, drop-off, pickup? Are you having any parental confrontations, or are they behaving more and a little more civil, or?
We've just had one, and that was, I think,
Last week.
it was like Monday. Then that parent was banned from property and through the end of 2025. So we draw a hard line on that. You're not going to abuse our officers. You're not going to abuse staff. And this parent in particular had a couple other prior incidents, so it made the call pretty easy just to say you're done. Come back in January with hopefully a better attitude. And I know they did have, so today we did have an incident at Hornet Park, not like anything serious. Mr. Adamson saw some lightning as they were getting ready to release. He was really close. He was looking at his app. So he held all the students over for about 20 minutes, just out of precaution. And Josh was tied up helping out at Central with their release. So I had to go over there. Obviously, a couple parents, were not happy with the delayed release and got a little agitated in the office. So I went over there to kind of cool things down. But by the time I got there, I think it was just a few minutes after that, Mr. Adamson went ahead and released the kids to the buses and the cars, and then it was done. But it backed up traffic quite a bit too, all the way to Emerson. So we had some officers that had already come over that were working the road, and we're just checking that. And I told them, it's really just it's a weather delay. Once it gets rolling, it'll be done. And it was within a few minutes after that. Once the cars got going, it was fine. So I did want to make a point. We did have that press conference today, and Julie Q. Smith is now our director of school safety, or safe schools. Yeah. So I've worked with Julie for about 5 years. She's been on the board at the Indiana School Resource Officer Association for as long as I've been here, and she's been the president, I think, the last 2 or 3 years. She's fantastic. I think as far as the SRO programs go in the state, I mean, we've got a really, really good partner there, and she does a really good program. I always wanted to get into Beech Grove. We just never could get it worked out. Where she does teaches self-defense to like juniors and seniors, and she just has a lot of irons in the fire. I don't know if she's doing that as much now because she's been so busy with being the president. And then I think she got a promotion, was basically running Columbus, Indiana's SRO program completely. But she's She's awesome. She's a big champion of safe schools, does a lot with the National SRO Association. So I think that's going to be a very, very good thing. I know Mark Parker's known her longer than me. I mean, she's been around the school resource officer program in the state for 10-plus years. So it's going to be really good for everyone. So I'm hopeful that also means that she will work aggressively, because I just knowing her the way I know her, she will, to try to get grant funding and try to find federal dollars to support SRO programs and school safety. So I really think we should see in the next couple of years some of that money. I'm sure she'll be pushing crazy. So
Go, go.
did you guys have any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
I'm thrilled with how many golfers we have. I
I
know,
know.
it's amazing. They keep coming.
Why are we getting these kind of numbers on the?
Coach, this is awesome.
Okay, well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Reminder, I think it's September 3rd, I think.
It is a Tuesday.
September 3rd is the Roncalli game. So please come out,
Gotta come.
cheer loud. It's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. And we've got a couple of girls that are just crazy good at football. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go with the personnel and operations update with Mr. Garman.
I listed our current job openings, and we are, obviously, don't have too many left. Our JROTC is still pending. I'll talk about that here in a second. But we have had a successful hiring season. I think we've hired some really great staff. We had new teacher orientation on July 24th. We had 14 new teachers who participated in that. Dr. Hammock always starts with an overview of the corporation, kind of an orientation to who we are, and a lot of the day is spent trying to acclimate them to our corporation and just who we are as an organization, our culture, and a lot of other information that I'm sure feels like a ton to them quickly, but we think is really valuable and kind of helps them feel at ease as they are welcomed here to Beech Grove City Schools. As I said, the current challenge is we are still awaiting approval to hire our JROTC instructor. I'm not sure what else to do at this point. We've been informed that we've submitted all the proper paperwork. Sergeant Major Thornburg is also helping with any connections he has, but it's just a really slow process. And the good news is, from what Sergeant Major tells me, that this is not unusual. Like all the school corporations that he interacts with are saying the same thing, that this is a lengthy process. I'll just remind you that we have been working on this process since December. So it has been a long time that we've been trying to fill this position, but it's just, we're at the mercy right now of the Department of Defense. So, transportation, you probably noticed that we've been able to hire a couple new bus monitors, a couple new bus drivers. We have another one in the works, so that we've done a great job this summer of alleviating that shortage that we had. It still remains a challenge, bus monitors. We continue to have a challenge in both attracting and retaining that position. So, we'll see where we can maybe address that here in the future. School safety, all of our staff are currently completing the required vector school safety training that is put out by the state. And ALICE training for current and new staff is scheduled for early September. And as always, Chad Mann does a great job with that, and Steph helps him make sure that those are all pushed out to the correct staff members. And I would just say, probably not directly related to school safety, but all of our assistant principals are reviewing the new state attendance laws and making sure that we are aligned with our existing policies and practices in each building. Food service, I'll just kind of piggyback on what Officer Ring said, that our Chartwell's team has done a great job of feeding a lot more students. So participation has been increasing steadily since the start of the year. So we're really pleased with that. I think at first we had some students who just kind of were boycotting lunch a little bit, but we've seen numbers really increase, which has been great. I think they're doing a great job of trying to be responsive to what the students wanted. They sent out that survey, and the survey was helpful to them in knowing what the students wanted to eat. So I'm just really pleased with with our ability to serve all of those students that we've acquired because of closed lunch very efficiently so far. Current challenge, I've mentioned this before, but we continue to have aging infrastructure in our kitchens, and it is costly. We ran the annual financial report, and we spent last year about $300,000 in addressing repairs and replacement of equipment. Luckily, we've been able to do that and still have a healthy balance, but we have additional equipment that's going to need to be replaced in the next, few years anyway. It won't be cheap. Nothing in the kitchens is cheap. And then finally, just from the facilities, grounds, and maintenance, just want to talk a little bit about the middle school. We had a chiller that had an issue on Thursday before the Wednesday of the opening of school, which was initially thought to be a sensor. Commercial service was great. They dropped everything to come in sort of an emergency for us, but it kind of snowballed from the initial sensor to then it was a sensor that was actually, a secondary sensor was also bad in a pipe where we had to reclaim all of the refrigerant out of that to be able to get to it. So it ended up being a lot more complicated than what we thought, which caused, obviously the building was warm and humidity was an issue. The chiller is about, I think, 16 years old, so it is getting near the end of its life. So, eventually it's going to have to be replaced, but they're, as you know, they're incredibly expensive to replace. So, I think commercial service feels like we have several more years we can get out of that chiller, but we are probably going to experience some periodic repairs that need to be done. We purchased a lot of 60 humidifiers that helped with that. I was in there, the building this morning, and the humidity levels are below 50%. The recommendation is below 60%, so we're at about 50%, which is good. And Dale's been doing some air quality tests, and we should have those results back, I would think, by tomorrow or Thursday, so we'll have a little better idea there. But I just appreciate the staff and everybody there. I mean, I know it was probably a little uncomfortable for students and staff, but sometimes we have unforeseen things that happen. Current challenge with parking lots, we have, if you've been through some of our parking lots, we have some chuck holes. So Dale and I met today and are going to extend the contract to a company. We're going to just they will cut out all of those areas and patch those, and then use rubber sealant, hot sealant in all of the cracks, and we'll blow those out first. So that'll buy us some years. We just don't have the money currently to be able to seal all of those. As you think about black, a sealant over the top, we just don't have that right now. So we'll address these, and that'll get us hopefully a few more years out of our parking lots before we have to maybe address them on a larger scale. So that's kind of the update, and just requesting approval from the board for the submitted personnel report from July 11th through August 7th, and the supplemental personnel report for that same time period.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is the middle school AC situation improved now after the repair? Is it fixed?
It's
or-
running at capacity now, so
Okay.
the build temperature is set there at 72 degrees, and it was, Brent said it was 72 in there today. Now, in the afternoon, about after 1 o'clock, it starts to really struggle a little bit. It'll tick up to 74, 75, but, I mean, homes are doing that right now. I mean, people's home systems are having a hard time keeping up, because the humidity levels are just crazy right now. I mean, as you know, it's 91 degrees with a heat index of 108.
Okay, so it is.
It's a very
better than it
unusual
was, okay.
pattern of weather we're in right now, but at any time you have a lower level, humidity falls. So every bit of humidity in that building is going to fall to the lowest point, and so those lower levels are always going to be a bit of a challenge for sure.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve the employment recommendations as listed?
I'll move.
I'll second.
April, M., and Brian, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now can I get a motion to approve the supplemental personnel report as listed?
I'll make the motion.
Go with Tara, can I get a second?
Second, April.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Dr. Hammack.
Very good. So just several actions for the board to consider this evening. First off, we did prepare the 2026-2027 school calendar. The calendar works out quite well in that we are able to complete that school year before the Memorial Day holiday. So the way that the calendar fell, it worked out really well, for lack of saying any more about that. We shared the calendar with our Teachers Association, and there were no concerns indicated there. So we believe that we are ready to get this out to our community and get it posted on the website, because it's kind of amazing, once you turn into the calendar year, everyone wants to know what the next year looks like. So it's just that time of year. So we just ask for your approval of the school calendar.
Crazy that we're getting that out there.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 26-27 school calendar.
April M., second. Janice, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Last month, we shared the Neola policy updates that were included in volume 37, number 2. Would ask for your approval of the same.
Can I get a motion to approve the Neola policy updates, including volume 37 and number 2? Beth, second.
April.
Janice, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're not ready for that yet. That's you.
And we have our recommendation to approve our engagement with the organization called NFP as our liability insurance provider for our school district. This would be beginning in January 2026, and that contract was included in your packet.
Can I get a motion to approve the engagement with NFP as a liability insurance partner for Beech Grove City Schools beginning January 2020? Thank you, Janice. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Tara, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. We really look forward to that engagement, and do believe that that's going to be a nice savings for our school district there. So really excited about that transition. Next up, we have our second preliminary determination hearing. A lot of words.
So the next item on our agenda is for the board to hold the project and preliminary hearing on proposed construction projects. If you're interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure you've signed in the sign-in sheet, which should include your name and address. After remarks by Dr. Hamrick, there will be an opportunity for the public to make comments about the projects. At the Pacific hearing, we ask that each person limit their comments to 3 minutes, and that the topic be limited to the proposed projects under consideration. The notice of this preliminary determination hearing was published as legally required. The first preliminary determination hearing was held on July 15th of 2025. At this time, I will ask Dr. Hammack to explain the purpose of this hearing.
Pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-20-3.1, a school corporation must hold 2 public hearings and adopt a resolution to preliminarily determine to issue bonds or enter a lease for a project which has a total project cost in excess of certain thresholds, or if the school corporation has a debt service fund tax rate above a certain amount. These public hearings and the consideration of resolutions represent the beginning of the legal process. The resolutions presented at this meeting establish the maximum financial terms for the proposed projects.
We will now hear from Dr. Hammack about the process of determining and communicating the projects to the community and the needs for these projects.
Under Indiana law, whenever a school corporation proposes to construct or renovate a school building at a cost in excess of $1 million, it must first hold a public hearing. The proofs of publication of the notice of the hearing have been issued. The projects being proposed are rooted in a critical need to address deferred maintenance across several of our school facilities. Over the years, due to limited funding, certain building needs, such as roofing, HVAC systems, plumbing, and other infrastructure, have been delayed. The purpose of this project is to provide an improved educational environment for students. The process of determining these projects began with a comprehensive facilities assessment, followed by input from building leaders, maintenance staff, and district leadership. We prioritize projects that impact health, safety, efficiency, and long-term operational viability.
We will now hear from Dr. Hammack about how the proposed projects meet the needs as just described.
The list of proposed projects includes essential improvements across multiple buildings, all focused on addressing deferred maintenance and aging infrastructure. Key projects include roof replacements at several school sites to prevent water infiltration and protect instructional spaces, HVAC system upgrades to ensure reliable heating and cooling, how appropriate, improve air quality, how appropriate, and enhance energy efficiency. Plumbing and electrical updates to bring aging systems up to current standards and reduce the risk of system failure, and interior improvements in high-traffic student areas to support a clean, safe, and welcoming environment. These projects were prioritized based on urgency, long-term value, and alignment with our district's commitment to maintaining safe, effective learning environments. All of these projects are deferred in nature.
We will now hear from Dr. Hammack about how the proposed projects will be financed, as well as information about the effect on the typical property taxpayer.
Board members have previously been presented with an analysis of the financial impact of these projects. The estimated hard and soft costs of the project are $9,835,000, with estimated costs of issuance, which include capitalized interest, less interest earnings, and interim lease rental of $1,285,000, resulting in total estimated project costs of $11,120,000. The estimated $11,120,000 will be funded with an anticipated gross impact on the debt service fund tax rate of 0.4366 cents per $100 of assessed valuation, based on an estimated $687,142,964 assessed valuation beginning in 2026. However, based upon current tax and assessed valuation assumptions, as existing obligations mature, the anticipated net increase to the debt service fund tax rate is expected to be 0 cents above the current rate.
We will now open the public hearing. Ms. Alford, do we have anybody registered to speak? Even though we didn't have anyone sign up to speak this evening, we appreciate the time and the interest in the projects and the future of our community. Please note that this is just the first step in the legal process. The board will continue with the administration and its professionals to look for efficiencies to conserve tax dollars while meeting our educational needs. Dr. Hammond, could you please summarize the preliminary determination resolution?
Yes, the preliminary determination resolution is required when a school corporation is planning to finance more than a certain amount for a given facility or type of work. It contains the total project cost, maximum annual payment and lease term, and other financial terms such as the estimated principal amount and tax impact.
Can I have a motion and a second to adopt the preliminary determination resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Terry? And Beth? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And with that action, we will conclude the second preliminary determination hearing. Looks like we are. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from July 8th, 2025, as well as the July 30th, 2025? Beth on both, second.
I'll second. April.
April M. on both. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the claims for July of 2025?
I'll move.
Tara, can I get a second? Janice, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the fundraisers?
Question about one of the fundraisers.
Yes.
Could somebody explain to me the golf thing
Hold on.
with the signs that they're putting that has something to do with the golf course and the,
I will say on the fundraisers, the FFA fall fundraiser, the moms,
Yes, wonderful,
they,
isn't it?
they're starting that. I'm a big fan, gotten them every year. They're huge. So you get them for like $11, but they're huge.
oh yeah, they are, they're pretty too.
Yeah, yeah. Way better than you'll get at like Menards and Lowe's, just
Sell
saying.
yard signs to the local.
I want to plug our FFA, but.
Is there anything more that's on the document, Steph? She's got it right here.
They're big.
Sell yard signs to our golf course team.
What's funny is they are beautiful and they last for months. We tried to plant them last year, they didn't take, but they might be from a warmer climate. You never know.
I'm guessing it's like when you have an outing, you get local businesses to be whole sponsored. So if you show up on T-Box 1, it'll say, Garmin Solutions or something.
Yeah, but are they having a golf outing and they're wanting people to sponsor holes? Is that what this is for?
Might be when they play on their home course,
Oh.
that's kind of how I read it.
Michael
Okay,
Collins
okay,
golf
maybe.
So
course.
they play at Shane Home Course.
Okay, that would
and
make,
those
yeah,
are-
that would make
Got it.
sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, gotcha, okay.
I think.
don't get
I was gonna say, is like Shake gonna allow them to have those up forever? But yeah, it's probably home, that makes
That's
sense.
interesting. I've never heard that. Is a fundraiser. That's a good idea.
It's a good idea.
So when they have home matches, I'll bet
Home
they're going to have
matches.
Yeah, that is a good
sponsors
idea.
at their holes. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
That was more clear than.
Any more questions on fundraisers?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Janice, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Tara, all those in favor? Oppose? Committee and community reports. Anything? I know we're early in the year, so.
No big deal, but I did go to community, I did go to the sewer meeting, and I know that it's about 5,000 a month now, it looks like, so I assume that's going to go up probably about 20%,
Yeah.
so
Significant.
it's based on pipe size, and I'm like, well, how would you know? Anyway, Julie, I know that it's going to be an
Yeah.
increase.
Utilities have been,
Board member and superintendent success stories.
well, I just wanted to take just a few moments to reiterate what Lieutenant Rings indicated. I'm so superstitious, so I just don't want to put this out into the universe, but I have heard from all of our principals that this has honestly been the best start that we have had in years. And I know, I feel like I just jinxed everything, right? But that is not by accident, right? That is because of a whole lot of hard work by a whole lot of people in order to be prepared. It feels like school is as normal as it's ever been since before that darn pandemic, right? So as you walk through the hallways, it feels like school again, and that is so refreshing.
Ladies, do you feel that way?
Oh,
Good?
yeah, good, yeah. Teachers have been incredible. We hate when, these circumstances happen where the working conditions are not what we would hope for them to be. But I can tell you that really in every space, it's just something special about Beech Grove. We show up every day for kids, we do our job, and, we make it happen. And we work as hard as we can to make sure that the conditions are as perfect as they can be. So I just want to thank everyone. It is just a joy to get to walk the halls. And today, a really neat activity in the very first time ever, the brand-new conference, Student Leaders. So we now have our Hoosier Legends Conference. All of the student leaders from each of the school districts, student athletes, came to Beech Grove High School for the inaugural sort of kickoff council day. And Garrett Daniel did an amazing job of organizing that event. Mr. Austin spoke, I was able to speak. The students, it was so sweet. They all had kind of their own, sort of swag on. When I walked in, Garrett had, in our kind of athletic entryway there at the high school, he had tables set up and had games out, like board games and Uno and Jenga, and so that the students would like play with each other, right, and kind of get to know each other a little bit. Like massive Uno competitions going down, to the last. It was so delightful. The students were lovely. They all came with their athletic directors. This conference just feels like a really good fit. And they spent the morning together, had lunch together here, and it was just really sweet that they chose Beech Grove as the first place to do this. So it was just a really nice morning. And, oh, by the way, we also hosted the governor, so there was that. But we really loved having those student athletes here at Beech Grove. Very sweet.
Yeah, with having all the school districts available and to make an announcement of
Yeah.
that magnitude of everything and
Yeah,
them choosing us to do it, I thought that was awesome.
really neat. Yeah, absolutely.
Had really nice things to say about the school.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The governor really noticed the preschool program, and I think that is going to sit with him for a while, just how important preschool is. Getting students prepared for kindergarten.
He was definitely taking notice of the things that he was telling us.
Wonderful.
And I'll echo Lieutenant Rinks. I met Julie a couple years ago at the SRO conference, and
Real deal.
absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. Street copper, school copper, all in with the kids, and the relationships that are already formed with somebody in that position could only benefit us when the big event opens up.
Excited.
Can I get a motion to adjourn? Janice?
Second.
Tara, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned at a new world record at 6:22 p.m.